my marker? Where do I stand? I remember when I was a kid, I had those sniffy markers, and my mom told me, she said, Harry, now don't you put those in your nose. You're gonna make yourself go crazy. And I said, Mom, I'm already crazy. So I took one of those cherry markers and I put it in my nose, and I was like, this smells like cherries. How do they do it? And then I took one of those blue markers and I put it in my nose and I said, this smells like blueberries. And then someone said, Harry, you gotta try one of these green markers. I mean, these green markers, they smell like mints. And lo and behold, I smelled the green marker and it smelled like mints. And I said, hey, how do you get those markers to smell like the actual thing? And I called the factory. I picked up my phone and I dialed 1-800-SMELLY MARKER FACTORY. And I said, hey, Smelly Marker Factory, how do you make those markers smell so good? And they said, is this Harry Caray? And I said, yes, Harry Caray, voice of the Chicago Cubs. And I said, how did you know? And they just said to me, I said, I've been listening to Cub games since I was a little baby, and since I'm only 45 years old today, I've never heard the Cubs win a World Series. And I said, oh, don't worry, this is our year. At the beginning of each season, I say every year's our year, because there's just no way that we can go 108 years without winning. It's impossible. I may be dead, but my body's rotting in the ground, but the Harry Caray spirit is still alive and well. And every time the spring begins and the baseball is being played, I say, it's time for the World Series this year. And he says, Harry, I enjoy talking to you, but why did you call? And I said, oh yeah, that's right, Mr. Marker Factory guy. And I said, how do you make those markers smell like the real thing? The orange smells like orange. The red, it smells like cherry. The mint, it smells like mint. How do you do it? And he says to me, Harry, it's pretty simple, really. We just put actual mint, an actual cherry in the marker. And the best thing about that too is we don't have to, use artificial coloring, because mint's already green, orange is already orange, and cherry's already cherry. I mean red, he says. He was getting a little carried away. Apparently, not too many people call the Marker Factory. I mean, one time back in 1986, Mr. Rogers' neighborhood, him and his friends, they stopped by the Marker Factory to find out how markers get made. And it was a great episode. I mean, King Friday and Daniel the Lion, I know they only exist in the land of make-believe, but they came along to check out the factory anyway. Because Mr. Rogers, when he travels with a party of many different... Lady Elaine, she was riding shotgun in the van. He had to get like a big van, so all of the lands of make-believe and Trolley, he was driving down behind the van on the way to the Marker Factory, and he says to me, Harry, he says that since 1986, when Mr. Rogers and friends came to the factory, nobody else has shown an interest. So, hey, Harry, I'm really glad you called today. And I said, Well, of course I called today because I myself am interested in the way that markers get made, and that's pretty much how markers, they smell like they look. And so I said to him, I said, Jim of the marker factory, you're the boss. You oversee production and everything. And I said, Jim, do the markers, do they taste just like they smell? And he says, Harry, don't eat the markers. But I did it anyway because I'm curious like a cat, and I just had to find out for myself. I don't care if when people tell me not to do something. I just do it anyway because I'm like Ferdinand Magellan. I'm like the other, like Ponce de Leon. I'm like, you know, Will and Clark and Sacagawea all mixed into one big lump of human being, and I'm an explorer, and I just need to find out new things for myself before anybody else has done it. So I took the cherry marker and I put it in my mouth, and even though it smelled like cherry, it did not taste like cherry. And that was the day that I stopped believing in markers that smell like real food, real fruit. And it was that day when I was no longer a child. In fact, I was a grown-up. And that, if I had to say, that was probably the saddest day of my adult life. So that's really all I have to say about that given subject matter. Back to you guys.